Morning, everybody. Hope your day is off to a good start. I'm hitting you fresh and early because there's something that's been on my mind lately that I want to talk to you guys about. This is how I personally deal with dopamine addiction. Now, if you guys are anything like me, entrepreneurial ADD, you're chasing the thrill of creating something that could be massive and exciting. You might also have other addictions going on in your life that are strictly because you like the feeling of that dopamine hit. So there could be some drugs and alcohol, recreational drugs and alcohol, whatever. Maybe even harder stuff. The people who are watching this probably aren't really into like crack and meth and stuff like that. But there could be some pornography addiction. I'm assuming there's actually quite a bit because it affects almost every man now, and that's sad, but it's true. And then low vibe activities, things that give us a thrill, like gambling or chasing adrenaline rushes, um, but ultimately lead us to just craving more, just wanting more. I have a friend of mine who's a therapist, PhD. He was talking to me about dopamine. Again, I'm not a therapist and I'm not going to pretend like I'm a therapist. So all of this is just the way that I deal with this stuff. Take it or leave it. But if you're like me and you want to try something different, you don't want to go to therapy and listen to textbook stuff from people who probably aren't dealing with the same stuff that you're going through, then maybe this will help you. Again, I'm not prescribing you anything. I'm just saying, hey, this is what I do. So my therapist friend, he was talking to me about dopamine, and he's like, imagine that your brain has 100 dopamine receptors, and that's not exactly how it works. But he's like, just imagine 100. Every time you do something to get a that gives you a dopamine rush, your dopamine receptors fire off. Feels really, really good, but five of them die. And so you have to increase your dopamine output, or you have to increase the activity by X percentage in order to feel the same high that you did by doing less the first time. So if it's drugs that you're into, you have to do more drugs. If it's drinking, you have to drink more. If it's adrenaline, you're just going to step it all the way up until you're base jumping off of the Eiffel Tower. I don't know. Is that even possible? If it's pornography, you got to go deeper and deeper and deeper. That's it's dangerous stuff. So here's my little chart so far. Let's see here. So all of these things leads to this right here, which is regret, depression, and never feeling fulfilled. Right? Even with sometimes like some people are addicted to the spotlight, right? Addicted, they need that validation. They're addicted to validation. And so they get a little bit of validation from people. They get some comments on their YouTube channel and they're like, wow, this feels really good. They get 1,000 subscribers. Wow, this feels really good. When you start at zero, you're like, man, if only I could get 1,000 subscribers. And then you get it. And how do you feel? You're like, man, if only I could get 10,000 subscribers. You get 10,000. If only I could get 50. If only I could get 100. If only I could get a million. It never ever stops. You can have all the validation from everybody in the world, but if it's coming for the wrong reasons, it's coming because you're trying to trigger the dopamine. You're trying to trigger those receptors. You will never feel fulfilled. It will never lead to lasting joy. So, here's the way that I have taken that. 40 years old again. Like this has taken me a long time to figure out, and this column right here really negatively impacted me for a very long time until I figured this out. So there is the type of dopamine, bad type of dopamine, and then there's good usage. This is the way that I think about this. Okay? So here's what I've done. Knowing that I have a dopamine addiction, knowing that feeling, I like the feeling of uh, like the feeling when my dopamine receptors are like boom, 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 firing off. What I try to do is channel that into good things. So I was talking to my wife the other night. We were sitting in our hot tub and having a discussion, and we're talking about specifically about dopamine. This is where this is coming from. And she's like, yeah, I told her, I was like, I don't know what life would be like if I didn't get a dopamine hit for the things that I'm doing. Like I can't even imagine a brain that wasn't firing off like that, where I wasn't chasing a feeling of a dopamine hit. And she's like, wow, that's really strange because I don't feel that way. Like she doesn't. That's not what she does. She doesn't do things because she wants that feeling, that rush. And that's like my entire life. That's all, like everything that I've done has been because I want that feeling. And it was kind of eye opening. I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I think like step one, like be reflective, introspective, and learn, is this the what are the reasons you're doing the things that you're doing. Um, okay, so that's step one, and I went through that a few years ago. The other night when I was talking to my wife, that was something completely different. I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like I never thought about that. Um, Work just to work just to do stuff, not work as a means to an end, like to get to a point where I'm like, I just accomplished something amazing. I just made a whole bunch of money. Like that's weird to me. That's very foreign to me. I don't know how to even like process that in my brain. It's not something that I want to process, honestly. Avoiding that. So okay, so let's talk about the good things. So this is the column where that I'm currently focusing on. Boom, is the good column. Okay, so knowing that I'm addicted to dopamine, knowing that I will do things because I'm chasing that energy, I channel that into things that will be productive for me. So exercise is one thing. Now, here's the thing: I don't. I'm not addicted to exercise. I have trained my brain to be addicted to the outcome of exercise, the feeling of energy, of good energy, like healthy, like I'm energetic. I can wake up early in the morning. I can get to work. I have a clear mind. I'm addicted to that now, and I get a dopamine hit by the feeling of after I work out, knowing that I put in a good workout and I'm going to feel energized by it. Right? That's a healthy type of addiction, at least in my brain. Uh, Maybe it's not, according to the PhDs, but for me, it's a way that I channel my natural process for thinking about things and desiring things, or the reason, purpose for doing things, and it produces a positive outcome. Okay, meditation. This is another thing. One of the things that I try to do is slow down. So I am addicted to the feeling of clarity that comes when I meditate. And again, these are things that fire off the dopamine receptors. I keep saying receptors. It's receptor. Semantics. Uh, I fire off the dopamine receptors by meditating. And so there is addiction to making sure that I carve time in my life to be still, to close my eyes for 15 minutes in the day and allow my thoughts to clear and allow that meditative wave to hit me, so that way I can have that mental clarity and I can kind of be more in touch spiritually. I think that's super, super important. Um, I've become addicted to solving problems, so I will seek out problems to solve, and and then I will put my brain to work, because when I solve a problem, I will get that dopamine hit. Awesome, I love it. Value creation. That's probably the key here. Value creation is like something that I thrive. That's where I live. I want to create value for the people around me. I want to create value for you guys. I want to create value for our team members. I want to create value for our clients. I'm addicted to that. But here's the other thing. I'm also addicted to family time. I get a dopamine hit when my kids are fulfilled, when my kids give me a hug and they're like, Dad, you're the best. It's amazing. And so I'm addicted to that, and I set routines in my life to make sure that I get those hits as well. Here's the bottom line though. Check this out. This is what we really are chasing. This is what real joy comes from. It comes from joy. Duh. Fulfillment, joy, success. When you are chasing the good dopamine column, the things in the good dopamine column, and not overdoing it, right? Not obsessively like worrying about, did I do enough curls? do the bench press for 25 minutes? No, you don't have to go that far. Become addicted to the feeling that you feel after you exercise, not the desire to get shredded and carved up and chiseled and stuff like that. Those things are a side effect that don't bring lasting joy, that don't bring fulfillment. What you're looking for is health, vitality, energy, love, the basic needs of a human. Become addicted to those things, the process, the routines that produce those things, and you'll experience joy, fulfillment, success, as opposed to regret, depression, and then never feeling fulfilled. It's never enough. So this is how I deal with it. If this was helpful for you guys, leave it in the comments. I also would love to hear from you. What do you guys do? Do you have this problem? Uh, we're in together. We're in this together. Okay, trying to think. Yeah, don't. I think the bottom line is like, don't take things too far. Like, don't become an exerciseaholic or a workaholic or a lazyaholic. Where you're just like, I just want to play with my kids all day long, right? There's a need for us men to be providers. There's a need for us men to show our kids how to work and how to put in a good day's work. You can take it too far, just like anything. So balance and everything. But if you want a joy-filled and fulfilled and successful life, this is what has worked for me. See you guys in the next one.